Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. So we're going to start in a minute or so. I do want to confirm that you can hear me, and very good. Thank you, Brian. And I assume you can see me and see my screen as well. Should say remote stock check simplifies ordering. Good deal. Thank you. Appreciate it, Linda. Thank you, folks. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So just a quick introduction. My name is Charles Owen with Paladin here. Been with the company going on 13 years now. Just a couple of notes about the presentation and about the process here. So if you have any questions, please type them into the screen. I'll be glad to answer them. Usually at the end of the webinar, we can do that. I will be recording this. So if you get interruptions, if you have customers that come and interrupt you and you need to help them, please, customers come first. You can do that. You can always go back to the recording and see the parts that you missed. This presentation is going to be short and sweet, about 10 to 15 minutes, so it's not going to take a whole lot of time out of your day, but it is one of the biggest time-saving features and something that's going to significantly reduce your ordering time. So I'm really glad to be presenting on this topic of remote stock check feature today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to the webinar and just spending this time with me for the next few minutes. It really does show that you have interest in your store being successful. The more you want to learn about Paladin and how you can implement different features that will increase your efficiencies and effectiveness as in using the Paladin system. We're just all about that. So I really appreciate your time. Do share it with others as well if you find it useful. All right, so let's get into remote stock check simplifies ordering. I'll make sure we're recording here. Looks like, yeah, we're good to go. All right, so the first slide is going to talk about what we're going to learn. So what we're going to learn today is about, what is remote stock check? What is this feature and how is it helpful to me? And next is we're going to talk about the different supported suppliers. So hopefully you are on one of the supported suppliers. We're on with 4 different brands right now. We can talk about that. We're adding more all the time. This is something that we're willing to do for just about any supplier, providing they can provide the hooks, the API or application programming interface, where we can get access to their stock, and we would be more than happy to write those. All right. Also, we're going to talk about sorting a purchase order by warehouse availability, and then viewing a warehouse's stock on hand quantity. So that's what we're going to learn today. Again, it's going to be really quick, short and sweet, but again, a huge time saver. So what is remote stock check? So you can see here, you can get real-time stock on hand information from your local warehouse, your regional, or retail support center. Happens to share the same acronym with remote stock check, retail support center, RSC. But it will identify the item based on where you're at in the system, and it will be able to tell you what is available from the last time that there was a ping on that particular stock. All right, sort your PO by availability. I think that's hugely powerful. We'll talk about that in more detail. Quickly adjust your order quantities before you buy, and we're going to go through exactly how you do that when you're generating your purchase order. It'll quickly bubble up to the top all those items that aren't in the warehouse. How convenient is that? No longer do you have to log into your warehouse, log into your warehouse and see what kind of stock is there. You can see it all right when you're doing the ordering at the same time. And then, of course, this helps to ensure efficient ordering, and that's what it's all about, right? You want to spend as little time as possible on ordering and more time with your customers, right? Because that's how you're going to grow your store, increase that customer connection and nurture those relationships. All All right, so let's get into the details. So what suppliers offer this support for this particular feature? Right now it's 4. We got ACE, Orgle, True Value, and Do It Best. Right? As it pertains to ACE, it's real-time information. So when you're looking at the warehouse information for your local distribution center through ACE, it's real-time. So it's going to show you what's there based on the exact time that you're putting that request in. True Value, on the other hand, they update the stock on hand and order quantity nightly, so about every 24 hours. And then Do It Best and Orgle updates are hourly in Paladin, but the warehouse, you know, they can take a few hours to report the stock on hand changes. So just be cognizant of that. You know, it's not perfect, guys, but you know, the more information that we can get about the warehouse will provide. And of course, it would be best if we can do real time for everybody. And I hope to get to that level with these particular suppliers and others. We'll see where that goes. So let's look at sorting a purchase order by warehouse availability. How is this done? Well, simply when you recall, you know, you go in the PO module, you recall a purchase order. On the bottom right-hand corner, it's automatically checked for you in this recent update. So you're going to see that checkbox next to supplier stock check is going to be checked. You see the little blue arrow that's pointing down here. It will automatically sort your purchase orders based on availability. And it'll just do it. Is it going to still respect your sort order? Yes, within those 3 different groups. And let's look at those 3 different groups right now. So the groups are supplier out of stock, right? That shows the PO items that are not in the warehouse. Really important to know, especially in this time where the supply chain is compromised. Next section is partial stock available. So if you've ordered a dozen of something, they only have 6. So that's going to fall into this category. You can continue ordering that product, or you can, again, look for, source it from a different vendor, or do what you have to do. All right, stock available is the next grouping. So those are the 3 categories. Within each of those categories, again, the sort order will be respected. Typically, I always suggest that you sort it by extended cost and descending order. That would float and bubble all the expensive stuff to the top of the order, so that, you know, it just really helps with you fine-tuning that order and getting it to your budget. All right, so when you do this initially, you're going to have a lot of items that are probably out of stock and a lot that are partial. So there could be a huge gap between each of those categories. So if you just want to jump down to the first category and second category and third category, you can do that just by pressing the magnifying or the pair of binoculars on here. You can see under the purchase order module, there's a little pair of binoculars. You have this searching capability in Invoice as well. But you just click on that and type in the word stock, hit find next, and it'll go right to that particular section. So it'll start with, you know, with the first one, obviously, which is out of stock, and then partial stock, and then the last one, of course, which is stock available. So that's just a nice little tip. All right, so there is a button that says learn more next to the supplier stock check. So if you forget, or if you're doing this for the first time, you want to remind yourself what this is all about, or maybe you have somebody that's actually creating a PO that doesn't typically do this, they can just hit that little learn more button, and it talks about all the different things that the sorting options that you have, which in this case will divide it up by out of stock, partial stock, and stock available. All right, so let's look at viewing warehouse stock on hand quantities for an item in real time, right? So this is kind of exciting stuff. If you're at the checkout stand and somebody walks up and asks you a question, you know, can you order these? I notice that you're out on your shelf. Just a click of a button, you can say, yep, got 30 in the warehouse, be glad to order you some, they'll be here tomorrow. So you can do this in the inventory module. Let's say you're in the inventory module, you want to see if there's any stock available. Just press that F7 button, stock check, and it will bring up the distribution center and the stock on hand amount. There are other fields there. They will be 0 for the time being, but just look at the stock on hand. It's going to tell you what they're reporting at that particular distribution center. All right, so Well, by the way, that's for inventory. Just to back up real quick, you also have this capability under PO and invoicing. So right at invoicing, again, if the cashier wants to see if any are in the warehouse, they can do that. If you're ordering, you just want to do a quick check, that F7 is available not only in inventory, but also in the PO module and invoice and quote module. Very important to know. So how to change your remote stock check or warehouse location or retail stocking center, or yeah. So you're in most cases the warehouse location is already going to be set for you, right? So that's done by Paladin. We just go into File, Setup, Supplier tab, and you can change that, right? So you don't have access to this, but your support center does. So if you call us, we'll be glad to make that change for you. How did it get initially set? Well, you may or may not remember an update or two ago, we had a little prompt on the screen that said, hey, we now have availability to check the warehouse for your particular brand. Which warehouse do you want to do you buy from? And it would give a list of those warehouses and you would pick it. If you bypass that screen initially and you did not fill that in, then you will have to call Paladin Support and we'll have to go ahead and add that distribution center specifically to in your system setup, and we can do that for you. So there's more information. I said this would be short. It's been about 12 minutes so far. You can find more information about this. There's a link here, how to view supplier warehouse stock on hand. You can also run that, a particular search request in knowledge base for the word warehouse. That would do it and bring up this article for you. Also, what's new in Paladin is the next webinar that we're doing on August 24th at 9 a.m. So the 2021 release was just chock full. I think this is a 45, 50 page type presentation where it goes through all the different features that are in Paladin or that have been added in Paladin this year. So you will definitely want to see this. If you don't watch it live, definitely watch it after the fact. This is where you get all the nuggets of information on what's available in Paladin. What have they done? Have they done anything that's going to benefit my store? More than likely, there's, out of, 40 plus features that we've added, yeah, there's probably something in there that's going to work well for you. So definitely stay tuned. Be sure to put this on your calendar, August 24th, 9 a.m. And then also, as always, you can check out all the information in the Paladin knowledge base under 2021. Again, you can just type that in. You also have access to Retail Science for news articles and articles that we syndicate to various publications on how to improve your retail operations. And in addition, you can see all the recorded webinars there as well. And that's under portal.paladinpos.com/webinars. And of course, you can go into our store there as well. If you just go to our Paladin website, paladinpointorsale.com, you'll see all these websites listed under the website button on the top right-hand side of the page. So you can get to all of this from your home. You don't have to be on the Paladin system to get to the knowledge base, for example. You can do this directly from any computer. Well, folks, I'm hitting that 15-minute mark, and that's all I have for you today. Hopefully, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them right now. But again, just to summarize and recap, this is one of the biggest time-saving issues or features that you can add when you're doing your ordering process. Again, no longer do you have to look at any of the distribution center's websites and find out what they have in the warehouse, unless you want to look real time, because again, some are an hour delayed. In the case of True Value, it's 24 hours at this time. So you might still have a reason to do that occasionally, but nonetheless, it's still a terrific feature. So thank you all for attending. I appreciate it. I don't see any questions still, so I'm just going to sign off now. So God bless you all. I appreciate it. Again, your effort in attending this webinar tells me that you're interested in making sure that you have a successful store and your customers are taken care of, your consumers have a good experience. So anyway, take care. We'll see y'all.